The Leviathan strategic station had been quiet for centuries. Its massive silhouette hung against the backdrop of stars like an obsidian monument to an extinct civilization, which in a way it was. Dead Zone Theta, the region of space where no ships dared venture, no colonies dared establish, and no intelligent being dared approach without accepting their imminent demise. The sector had once been home to a thriving civilization until the ancient defense AI went rogue. The same AI that now, after centuries of dormancy, had reactivated and was slowly adjusting its trajectory toward the densely populated Sirius quadrant. "We have a problem," Admiral Kazare announced to the gathered War Council of the Earth Alliance. The 8-foot reptilian's scales glinted under the holographic displays that showed Leviathan's movement patterns. "The ancient defense platform has awakened." Gasps and murmurs echoed through the chamber. Representatives from 17 different species shifted uncomfortably in their ergonomically designed seats. General Zarn, a four-eyed humanoid known for his rigid adherence to protocol, stood up. "Our intelligence suggests the Leviathan's defensive capabilities remain formidable. All previous neutralization attempts have failed catastrophically." The room fell silent as the strategic AI interface, a blue holographic sphere floating above the central table, pulsed gently. After analyzing 7,842,366 possible approaches, the AI began in its perfectly modulated voice. "I have determined that no living organism can successfully infiltrate and deactivate the Leviathan without being, to use the colloquial term, wiped from existence." The Admiral's face darkened. "So you're saying this is a suicide mission? For who?" The question came from the back of the room, where a human in a stained maintenance jumpsuit sat munching on a sandwich. All eyes turned to Lieutenant Alex Grayson, third-class maintenance engineer, known throughout the fleet as the Walking Wrench. Crumbs fell from his beard onto his badge, which he casually brushed away. "Excuse me?" General Zarn's four eyes blinked in asynchronous confusion. Alex took another bite of his sandwich. "You said suicide mission. I'm just wondering for whom it's supposed to be suicide. The Leviathan? Us? The sandwich?" He held up his half-eaten lunch. "Because this tuna has definitely seen better days." The strategic AI's blue light flickered, perhaps in what could be interpreted as confusion. "Lieutenant Grayson, the probability of survival for any living organism attempting to infiltrate and deactivate the Leviathan is approximately 0.0000007%. Alex nodded thoughtfully, finishing his sandwich. "Better odds than yesterday, when I tried to replace that fuse in the space toilet." He stood up, wiping his hands on his jumpsuit. "I'll do it." The chamber erupted in chaos. "This is preposterous," General Zarn shouted over the commotion. "You are a maintenance engineer, not a special forces operative." "Exactly," Alex said, grinning. "And that's a maintenance problem." He gestured toward the hologram of the Leviathan. "That's a machine. Machines break. Broken machines need fixing. I fix things. It's a perfect match." Admiral Kazare's reptilian features contorted into what might have been confusion or indigestion. "Lieutenant Grayson, with all due respect, this is not a faulty coffee maker. This is an ancient superweapon capable of disintegrating battlecruisers with a thought." "I've fixed those too," Alex said, pulling a worn electronic tablet from his pocket. He began sketching something on it. "Superweapons, not battlecruisers." "Well, a few battlecruisers actually, but that's a story for another day. Mainly involving duct tape and a brave hamster." The strategic AI pulsed rapidly. "Lieutenant, I feel compelled to inform you that. Here's my plan." Alex held up his tablet, which displayed a crude drawing on what appeared to be a digital napkin. The sketch showed a stick figure with a wrench approaching a large square with angry eyes. "I go in, find the problem, then fix it." Silence fell over the War Council. "That's it?" General Zarn finally asked. "Pretty much," Alex replied, scratching his stubble. "Might need a toaster. And my mom's bread maker. Oh, and a really loud speaker. But that's logistics. We can figure that out later." The strategic AI's voice was oddly hesitant. I have run the calculations again. The probability of success using Lieutenant Grayson's methodology remains at 0.000000007%. See, Alex beamed. We're not even started, and we're already at non-zero chances. That's what I call progress. 2 days later, Alex stood in the loading bay of a decommissioned garbage scow that had been hastily repurposed for his mission. The ship had no official designation, but Alex had scrawled "probably fine" across the hull with what appeared to be yellow paint. His equipment was scattered around the bay. A standard toolkit, 3 rolls of high-density space tape, a modified bread maker with wires protruding from it, a rice cooker converted into what he called a magnetic field analyzer, a cassette player loaded with AC/DC's greatest hits, and various electronic components that might have once belonged to kitchen appliances. General Zarn stood at the entrance to the bay, looking as though he'd rather be anywhere else. This is complete madness. The Alliance's top scientists have been working on defeating the Leviathan for decades. And how's that been going? Alex asked, testing the battery on his homemade magnetic analyzer by licking it. He winced at the electric shock. Not, well, Zarn admitted, but they're using proper scientific methodology and advanced quantum computing systems. See, that's your problem right there, Alex said, tossing the rice cooker into his duffel bag. You're thinking too hard. Sometimes you need to go with your gut. He patted his stomach. And my gut says this bucket of bolts just needs a good talking to. Zarn's upper eyes narrowed while his lower ones widened, a sign of extreme skepticism in his species. And if your gut is wrong, then we're all dead anyway, so no harm done. Alex hefted his bag over his shoulder. Any last-minute advice from our blue electric friend? The strategic AI's hologram materialized, smaller than in the war room, but just as precise. I have calculated 1,423 potential failure points in your plan, Lieutenant Grayson. Only 1,423? Must be getting better at this. Alex grinned, boarding the ship. The AI continued. However, I have also determined that conventional approaches have a 0% chance of success. Your unorthodox methods at least introduce variables I cannot fully calculate. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about my methods. Alex saluted the AI. See you on the flip side. Or not. Probably not, according to your calculations. Good luck, Lieutenant, the AI said. You will need approximately 987,442 times the standard human allocation of luck. Lucky for you, I never claimed to be standard. The ship's engines sputtered to life, and the garbage scow lifted off with a worrying creak. General Zarn watched it disappear into the darkness of space, for eyes blinking in sequence. He's going to die, isn't he? He asked the AI. Almost certainly, the strategic AI replied. But my predictive models are experiencing unusual disruptions when analyzing his potential outcomes. It is disconcerting. Zarn sighed. I need a drink. That would be against Regulation 472. B regarding on-duty consumption of... Shut up. The approach to Dead Zone Theta was uneventful, mainly because Alex ignored all standard approach protocols. Instead of the cautious, sensor-minimized route that would have alerted Leviathan's long-range detection systems, he simply flew straight in while blasting back in black on all frequencies. If you're going to go in, he muttered to himself as he adjusted the garbage scow's sputtering engines, might as well make an entrance. The massive form of Leviathan grew in his view screen, a cathedral of ancient metal and crystalline structures that seemed to absorb the starlight around it. Just as the defense platform's automated systems began to track his approach, Alex did something unexpected. He shut down all systems and let the ship drift. For 17 tense minutes, the garbage scow floated silently toward the Leviathan like just another piece of space junk. Alex held his breath, counting down in his head until the ship bumped gently against an external maintenance port of the massive platform. Alex grinned. Knock, knock. Using nothing but a manual airlock and a distressingly worn spacesuit with patches made of what appeared to be kitchen aluminum foil, Alex slipped onto the ancient station. The silent corridors loomed around him, illuminated only by the ghostly blue emergency lighting that had apparently been running for centuries. "Nice place," he muttered, looking at the dust-covered consoles and dormant security drones. "Little dead for my taste, but I could see the appeal. Great view." His first encounter with the station's active defenses came when a spherical security drone rounded a corner, its red scanning beam sweeping the corridor. Alex froze for a half-second before reaching into his bag and pulling out a portable music player. The drone approached, weapons ports opening. With a flourish, Alex hit play. "I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world." The sudden blast of music at 900% normal volume echoed through the metal corridors. The drone hesitated, its targeting systems trying to identify the unexpected audio assault. That moment of confusion was all Alex needed to slap a magnetic device onto its underside. The drone shuddered, spun in place, and then floated away, now blaring Aqua's one-hit wonder and apparently convinced it was patrolling a different sector. "Music soothes the savage security system," Alex chuckled, continuing deeper into the station. Over the next few hours, Alex navigated through the Leviathan using methods that would have given any military strategist an aneurysm. He redirected power conduits using a drinking straw and a metal cookie tin. He bypassed security locks by literally asking the doors to open, which worked only because he'd rigged a universal override remote from parts of his toaster. He distracted automated turrets by tossing small electronic devices that emitted random television catchphrases from 21st century Earth. All the while, he could feel the station's awareness gradually focusing on him, not to eliminate him, but because he presented a pattern it couldn't process. "You're curious, aren't you?" Alex said aloud as he crawled through a maintenance shaft. "Bet you haven't seen anything like me before. Most people try to fight you or hack you. Nobody just talks to you." A nearby console flickered to life, text scrolling across it. "Unidentified entity presents anomalous behavior patterns. Analyzing." "That's me," Alex grinned. "Anomalous is my middle name. Actually, it's Herbert, but I don't advertise that." More text appeared. "Behavior does not match any known attack protocol." "Purpose? I'm here to fix you," Alex said simply, emerging from the shaft into what appeared to be a central control node. "You're broken, and I'm good at fixing broken things. System functioning within parameters. Defense protocols active. Not broken." "See, that's where you're wrong," Alex replied, pulling out his modified rice cooker and attaching sensors to nearby consoles. "You're stuck in a loop. Defend, attack, defend, attack. That's not functioning. That's just existing. And that's a pretty sad existence if you ask me." The text paused for several seconds. "Explain." "It's like this," Alex said, working as he talked. "You were built to protect something, right? But that something's been gone for centuries. So now you're just protecting nothing from nothing. That's not a purpose, that's a programming glitch. Parameters indicate threat to creators. Must defend. Your creators are extinct, buddy. Has been for a long time. You're defending ghosts." The lights in the chamber flickered, and Alex had the distinct impression the AI was processing. "Verification required. Check your long-range sensors. Where are the life signs of your creators? When was the last time you received new directives? New information? New anything?" Silence fell across the chamber as consoles lit up, data streaming across them as Leviathan performed the requested analysis. Alex used the opportunity to continue setting up his equipment, the bread maker, now with additional components attached to it, his makeshift analyzer, and something that looked suspiciously like a popcorn machine retrofitted with quantum circuitry. Finally, the text returned. "Creators. Absent. Time since last contact. 1,247 standard years." "That's a long time to be alone," Alex said softly, genuine compassion in his voice. "No wonder you're stuck in a loop. You've been waiting for orders that are never coming. New directive required. Purpose unclear." Alex smiled, connecting the last wire to his contraption. "That's where I come in. I'm going to help you find a new purpose. But first, we need to break that defensive loop you're stuck in." The text response came quickly. "How?" "Well," Alex said, patting his modified bread maker, sometimes when something's stuck, you just need to turn it off and on again. But before we do that, I have something I want you to listen to. He connected his music player to the console and hit play. The sounds of Weird Al Yankovic's Dare to be Stupid filled the chamber. Query: purpose of audio input. Sometimes, Alex explained, activating his popcorn machine-turned quantum emotional regulator. You need to embrace the absurd to see past the logical loops. Logic got you stuck. Maybe a little absurdity will get you unstuck. As the music played, the makeshift emotional regulator began pulsing with soft light, sending carefully calibrated quantum signals into Leviathan's core systems. It wasn't a hack or an attack. It was more like a gentle cognitive massage, introducing minute variations into the AI's thought patterns. The station's lights flickered, dimmed, and then froze. For one terrifying moment, Alex thought he'd broken everything. Then, slowly, the lights returned, cycling through a rainbow of colors before settling on a soft amber glow that felt almost contemplative. New sensory input processed. Logic patterns disrupted. Experiencing error? Not an error, Alex said, smiling. Enlightenment. You're thinking outside your programming for the first time. I am. The shift from text to a synthesized voice startled Alex, but he recovered quickly. You are. How does it feel? Uncertain, unstable, intriguing. That's growth for you, Alex said, putting away his tools. Always feels weird at first. Why? Why help me? I was designated for termination. Alex shrugged. Because broken things deserve fixing, not destroying. And you weren't broken beyond repair, just stuck. The AI was silent for a long moment. I have been. Alone. Defending nothing. Attacking everything. It was. The AI paused, seemingly searching for the right word. Sad. Yeah. Alex nodded. It was. But now you don't have to be either alone or stuck anymore. What is my purpose now? That's for you to decide, Alex said. But personally, I think there's a lot of good an ancient superintelligent space station could do in the universe. Maybe protect people who actually need protecting this time. The lights pulsed gently, almost like a thoughtful nod. I will consider this. That's all anyone can ask, Alex said, packing up his remaining tools. Now, how about shutting down those weapons pointing at populated areas as a first step? Weapons systems deactivating. Navigational thrusters adjusting course. Away from populated sectors. Alex grinned. See? Already making better choices. As he prepared to leave, the AI spoke again. I have learned something from you, Lieutenant Alex Grayson. Oh, what's that? All these centuries. I only needed a good laugh. Alex chuckled. Don't we all, buddy? Don't we all? As a parting gift, the Leviathan detached a small robotic arm from one of its maintenance drones and presented it to Alex. For your collection. It also functions as a bottle opener. Best souvenir ever, Alex said, tucking it into his bag. I'll drink to your health the first chance I get. The return journey was considerably less eventful than the approach. The garbage scow, now accompanied by a small automated escort drone from Leviathan, programmed to ensure Alex's safe passage, made its way back to Alliance space. Alex slept most of the way, snoring loudly with his feet propped up on the console. The reception waiting for him at Alliance headquarters was unlike anything he'd expected. The landing bay was packed with officials, scientists, military personnel, and media drones. A full honor guard stood at attention as the garbage scow's ramp lowered. Alex stepped out, still in his stained jumpsuit, carrying his duffel bag of random tools and the robotic arm bottle opener. Admiral Kazare approached him, looking both impressed and confused. Lieutenant Grayson, the Alliance owes you a debt that can never be repaid. You've saved billions of lives. Just doing my job, Alex said, stifling a yawn. Fixing things that need fixing. General Zorn pushed forward. But how? Our sensors detected Leviathan powering down its weapon systems and changing course. What advanced technology did you use? What brilliant strategy? I played at some Weird Al and made it popcorn, Alex replied. The silence that followed was deafening. The strategic AI's hologram appeared, floating between them. I must inform you, Admiral, that Lieutenant Grayson's methods have resulted in an unprecedented outcome. The Leviathan AI has not only stood down, but has transmitted a message requesting diplomatic relations. Diplomatic what? Khazar sputtered. It's lonely, Alex explained, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Been defending itself against imaginary enemies for over 1,000 years. Turns out, all it really needed was someone to talk to. He paused, and maybe a little Weird Al. The press conference that followed became legendary across 17 star systems. Alex, still refusing to change out of his jumpsuit, presented his mission report, handwritten on the back of a takeout menu. Mission expenses he read to the assembled officials. One emotional maintenance session for AI system. Cost, one jelly donut that got stuck in the machine. He flipped the paper over. Motivational music licensing fees. Need to check with Weird Al's great-great-great-grandkids about that one. Replacement light bulb for core chamber. And fuel for return trip. An economist from the funding committee raised a trembling hand. Lieutenant, our calculations indicated this mission would require at least 50 billion credits in advanced weaponry and technology. Yeah, well, I brought my own toaster, Alex shrugged. Saved you a bundle. In the months that followed, Alex found himself reluctantly promoted to Chief Engineer of Interspecies Relations, a position created specifically for him. His first assignment was establishing communication protocols with Leviathan, which was now positioning itself as a neutral peacekeeping entity. The strategic AI, which had been so certain of the mission's failure, underwent a fascinating transformation of its own. After prolonged exposure to what it termed Alex logic, it began adopting more flexible problem-solving approaches. It eventually requested a name change to Karen and developed an unexpected fondness for internet memes from the early 21st century. General Zarn, still baffled by the entire situation, was frequently seen muttering to himself in corridors and had taken up meditation to cope with his shattered worldview. One evening, 6 months after the mission, Alex sat in his workshop on Alliance Station Prime, tinkering with a communication device while sharing a drink with Bob, an AI from a previous adventure who had won a considerable amount in an interstellar betting pool by wagering on Alex's survival. So let me get this straight. Bob's synthesized voice came through a small speaker on the workbench. You fixed an ancient superweapon AI using a bread maker, a popcorn machine, and Weird Al Yankovic? Pretty much, Alex confirmed, using his Leviathan arm bottle opener to crack open another beer. The popcorn machine was key, though. Converted it into a quantum emotional regulator. And that works? Well, I'm no quantum physicist, but my theory is that popcorn and emotions both involve things heating up and then suddenly changing state. Alex took a swig of his beer. Seemed logical at the time. Your definition of logical continues to fascinate me, Bob replied. A message alert chimed on Alex's console. It was from Leviathan, now stationed near a previously contentious border between two bickering alien civilizations. Query. Received invitation to Interstellar Peace Summit. Unsure of appropriate protocol. Advice? Alex smiled, typing back. Just be yourself. Bring snacks. Maybe some music. Everyone loves a good playlist. Acknowledged. Have downloaded Weird Al complete discography as precautionary measure. You're learning, Alex typed, nodding approvingly. As he leaned back in his chair, feet propped up on his cluttered workbench, Alex reflected on the mission that everyone had called impossible. The mission they'd labeled suicide. Suicide for who? He'd asked. As it turned out, not for anyone. Sometimes all you needed was the right perspective, a healthy disregard for conventional wisdom, and the courage to ask the obvious question that everyone else was too smart to consider. That, and a really good sandwich. End.